This is Susan Bassey, and I'm outside the family courthouse in Santa Clara County, and I'm going to wait for people to come in, and we are going to do a special little live follow right now. We're going to talk about a federal lawsuit being filed against some of the judges inside this courthouse. And so here's Mark the process server coming down the street. He's wearing his red shirt today. And hi, John. Nice to see you. We got Mark the process server coming at us right now.
Back in Santa Clara again.
I have my special mic, so when you want to talk, you have to talk like this.
Back in Santa Clara again.
Not loud, though.
And it may be a rainy day, but you are a bright sunshine, Susan.
Thank you, Mark. He's also a little schmooze. So can you guys hear us okay? I want to make sure that you can hear us with this mic. Give me a thumbs up. Not you. You can't see whether or not. Okay, we're going to walk to the front of the courthouse. It'll be a little warmer over there and less windy. So hi, Leslie. Nice to see you in. And we are going to follow Mark the process server. He is following. We're going to go back to the courthouse, and I'm not going to go in the courthouse because there's
a legal First Amendment restraining order.
Because, as you know, they prosecuted me for 6 years for recording in that courthouse, recording the police officer who broke my hand. So today, Mark is serving.
I'm serving for Michael Sternberg. A plethora of judges, including the state Supreme Court Judge Patricia Guerrero.
And you did that earlier today.
Yes, I got Patricia Guerrero first in San Francisco. I've also come down here. I've also served the DA Jeff Rosen, Mr. Borski, and a host of others in that office, and Santa Clara County at the Board of Supervisors. And now we're going to finish serving the rest of the local judges here at the courthouse.
Okay, so we are going to talk, I'm going to talk about this lawsuit, why Mark is in there. And as you know, I can't record, so I'm going to stand outside when he goes in. And then when he comes out, he'll talk about what it was like to serve and not be able to record. Because Mark, when you went to the county today to serve Jeff Rosen, Jay Borski, and you served the sheriffs at the supervisors, is that what you did?
No, ma'am. You said that we'd meet here to get them served with you.
Yeah, so we're going to go over to the sheriff after, but you didn't go to the Board of Supervisors.
I did go to the Board of Supervisors.
And who did you serve there?
The lady at the counter took it for the county.
Okay, so that's for the county.
Yeah, if you want her.
So he took video of that. And so for those of you who don't know, for 5 years, I have been restrained
illegally
from going to the courthouse, going to the county buildings, because there were two political appointees, Casey Halcone and Nicole Ford, who said that I was scaring them and they couldn't do their job. Nicole Ford, I said, should recuse herself from the Domestic Violence Council and report herself to the bar. And she said that made her cry all the way home. So I can't go follow him up to those places when he's serving.
Hey, I would cry if I had to give up that much money too.
So Mark's going to go in and serve. We have the video. He did take video earlier today, but he's going to go in and he's going to serve. Mark, who are you serving? What judges are you serving?
In this one, we're serving Seeley Hendrickson, Brooke Blecher, Roberta Hayashi, Thomas Kuhnle, and Beth McGowan.
Okay. Not Rebecca Fleming?
Not listed on this.
Okay.
It might be on the other one in the car. We can check that out when I come back out.
Okay, so while Mark's there, I'm going to talk about what I've seen in this case. So we'll talk to you when you come out and you'll tell us what it was like when you
hear me singing, another one bites the dust.
Wait.
When you hear me singing, another one bites the dust.
So there goes Mark. He's serving for Michael Sternberg. And I want to tell you that I did a media request in Michael Sternberg's case. And I saw firsthand what was happening. And what they did in that case was Michael is a father who is living in Nevada with his children, and he wasn't married to the children's mother. And so his baby mama was arrested for a DUI. And when she was arrested, she got a DUI and the children were in the car. And so he took custody of his children, his two boys. And while he had custody of the children, she ended up getting her DUI charges dismissed. She was the daughter of a high-ranking Apple executive. Yes, whoever asked me, John, you asked if that's father in exile. Yes, Michael Sternberg is father in exile. So he's been putting his videos up online about his federal case and what he's trying to do. And so what Michael is struggling with are the issues that so many people struggle with, and they end up spending a fortune on attorneys, and the judges are just ignoring due process and any constitutional rights. And so what Michael is suing over are a few important things that affect everybody. First of all, Judge Seeley Hendrickson, when Michael, so let me go back to what happened to Michael. So his baby mama gets arrested for a DUI. The police reports are horrific. There were two children in the car, which was child endangerment at best and probably felony charges. And so what ended up happening was when her criminal case was dismissed, she then came back to Nevada, was living in Nevada, and decided she wanted to bring the custody case back here. And so they were living in Nevada. So I want you to picture this, because Nevada is where the Chili DeCastro trial was. And we saw how that judge treated Chili. And whether you like Chili or not, whether you agree with what he's doing or not, I watched that proceeding and it reminded me of a family court proceeding. And the judge seemed incredibly biased. And as you know, that got overturned, but it didn't stop Chili from spending some time in jail. And so similarly, we see that happen in family court cases. And what happened in this case, and there is a video, I think it's up on Father in Exile's videos. If not, I know I've done a little clip of it. But they used to have recordings in the courtrooms in Nevada. And so Michael's family law case is recorded there. And there were some Nevada attorneys, and they were debating over where the custody case should take place. They were all living in Nevada. And while they were living in Nevada, the children were enrolled in school, and the mother decided to try to get the case back here. And I saw Judge Hayashi zoom in, and it was interesting because the judge in Nevada said, well, normally we can work these things out, and these people are registered to vote here. Their children are enrolled in school in Nevada, so why would the case move back to California? And it wasn't clear, except that Judge Hayashi seemed to be kind of bullying to get the case back to Santa Clara County. And the mother's relationship with Apple and the significant wealth that this area has brought to Apple, that Apple has brought to Silicon Valley, was kind of an issue. So Michael ends up back in a custody case here in Santa Clara County, even though he's living in Nevada, and he's battling for his kids. They do a full custody flip. The case ends up in front of Judge Seeley Hendrickson. And first, I think it was first in front of Hayashi, and then it ends up in front of Judge Seeley Hendrickson. And while it's in front of Judge Seeley Hendrickson, he loses full custody. So these are what we call custody flips. And it's when, usually for no reason at all, I'm gonna let that siren pass. It's an ambulance. So these custody flips are happening more and more. And usually what we see are patterns in that there's not necessarily a criminal case or a public safety issue or an issue. It seems to be more a game of the lawyers acting as minors counsel, supervised visits, therapists, because when there's a custody flip, then the courts start working to restore custody. And that can take years and often never happen. And so what happened in Michael's case was he had to start battling and paying attorneys. And he was fighting two attorneys in particular, Christina Adams and her husband, I can't remember his first name, but it's Ashelman. And Father in Exile can type that in if he's watching this. And they're the ones who are in my video where Mark Andrews went to go serve at Christina's office the last time he was in Santa Clara County. She wouldn't accept service. And so another Mark had to go to Santa Cruz to serve her at home over the Labor Day weekend. And she unleashed her dogs on that Mark. And there is currently a criminal complaint and possibly a civil complaint against Christina Adams, who is an attorney and unleashed her vicious dog on Tristan. Thank you, Father in Exile, for reminding me it's Tristan Ashelman. And so she unleashed her vicious dogs on the other Mark. And then we had a sheriff deputy, Deputy Torres, write a declaration saying that Mark Andrews and I had been there and we were harassing the attorney. So attorneys who use the subpoena process and lawsuits every day to make their income, when lawsuits are filed against them, they consider it harassing. And so we're seeing a real pushback on that right now with the attorneys. And I have to tell you, every single one of you that comes in and watches these videos, supports it, you help us put information together about the patterns that we see with judges and attorneys. You help us put together information about these custody flips, how much money it's costing parents, and most recently, the issue related to minors counsel and how much money that is costing taxpayers when the parents can't afford to pay. So again, I want to remind you of all the tricks they can do to you in family court. They do a custody flip, you're suddenly losing time with your children. Sometimes there's only a civil domestic violence restraining order filed, and that is used for the custody flip. Almost always that's kind of related. And then